Hello there. For our episode today, we are going to have an analysis of the poem written by Adonis G. Durado titled Balaki Kuday, Samtang Gasakay Habalhabal. When we do poetry analysis, it's always suggested that we do reading of the text. We read the entire poem. And I'm also going to show you a short dramatization of some scenes from the poem itself. And then we're going to proceed with the analysis of the poem. We'll go into the lines, no? We'll look into the meaning of the lines. And along the way, we are going to mention imagery that is used by the poet. And we also have several figures of speech employed by the poet. And finally, we'll look into the significant human experience, like how can we relate to the poem? What are some insights that we can get from the poem?
Balaki kuday, samtang gasakay Habalhabal. Idat-ul og samot ka ng imong dughan, nganhi sa akong buko-buko. Aron mas mabatyag ko ang hinagubtob sa imong kasing-kasing. Sa mga libaong atong malabyan, gaksa ko paghugot sama sa lastikong mipungpong sa imong buhok. Og sa kainit sa imong ginhawa, gitika kining akong dunggan. Ang mga balili unya nga manghalok sa atong batiis, isipon tang kaugalingong mga dila. Dayon samtang nagkatulin kining atong dagan, mamiyong tang manghangad ngadto sa kawanangan. Aron sugaton ang taligsik sa uwan, dahon ug bulak.
So first, in literary analysis, particularly in poetry, we are going to ask who is speaking or who is the persona of the poem. So we don't say it is Adonis G. Durado, huh? We don't say that because Durado is only the writer or the poet, okay? So we look into the lines of the poem, who is speaking. So if you go back to the text, we realize that it is the Habalhabal driver. So later on, we'll talk about Habalhabal. What is Habalhabal? Okay? So it's the driver who is speaking, or he is also the persona in the poem. To whom are the lines addressed? So he addresses those lines to the female passenger called Dai or Inday. So Dai here is a shortcut of Inday, no? What we usually call a maiden, okay, or a girl. So the Habal-Habal driver addresses these lines to the female passenger, the Dai. What is the situation? So they are riding the Habal-Habal, okay? So we also ask, do they know each other? The lines do not tell us, okay? But we know that this driver has some kind of desire towards this female passenger, okay? And let's find out what kind of desire is this. But obviously, it's related to love, okay? But do we have proof that they know each other? I would say that they don't have proof. Like it can just be coming from the imagination of the driver. So you have the title at the same time the first line, no? The first two lines of the poem. So when we say habal-habal, usually it's a big single motorcycle. It's like a mode of transportation, especially for um, the mountainous areas or the hinterlands. There are many passengers that can be accommodated in a habal-habal. But the word habal-habal actually comes from should I say agriculture, okay, or animal science, when you have sex, okay, it's actually referring to sex, okay, between animals, like habal, ihabal, no? Okay, like breeding, okay, like if you have a pig and you want the pig to have offsprings, okay, you habal the pig, okay? So it's really sex among animals. So we ask also, why is it that this mode of transportation is called habal-habal when it's referring to sex? Okay. Probably it's because of the position of the driver and the passenger. It's like having sex. Okay, but that's up to you now, no, in terms of your interpretation. Or you may ask people around you, why is this called habal-habal? Okay? Where in fact, habal-habal refers to sex among animals. You have the first line, Balaki kuday. Okay? So the word balak is actually poetry. Okay? Like poem. But I would say that the first line is rather ambiguous. If you study literature and you have in the formalist approach, you would encounter the 7 types of ambiguity, okay? And it's rather one characteristic also of poetry that it's open to several interpretations. So the word balaki kuday, remember it comes from the driver. Balaki kuday, like, is he saying that recite to me a poem, my dear maiden? Is that it? Okay? Or another meaning of balaki kuday, balak, is like, you can remember the statement, may masamang balak, right? When you say may masamang balak, you have this intention, like an evil intention towards a person. So, or is it also possible that the driver is telling the girl na, pagsamantalahan mo ako, or have this intention towards me, okay? Or give me this sexual intention, something like that, no? Uh, Bigyan mo ng balak, okay? Balaki kuday. So, I would say that the first line is rather ambiguous, okay? Is it, recite to me a poem, my dear lady, is that it? Or the other one, like, have this intention, no? Dapat may masamang balak ka sa akin, okay? When somebody has this masamang balak towards you, sometimes it can be sexual, okay? So I would say that it's rather ambiguous. We don't really know what the first line means, okay? But it can be any of these two. Or if you have another interpretation, no problem, as long as we can prove it based on the text, okay? Because that's the beauty of poetry. It's open to several interpretations, but when we give our interpretation, make sure we can defend it. Idat-ol og samot kanang imong dughan nganhi sa akong buko-buko, aron mas mabatyag ko ang hinagubtob sa imong kasing-kasing. Very beautiful lines. You see, you have the tactile imagery, the sense of touch, okay, that is employed by the poet. In English, when we say idat-ol og samot, like press, no? Press harder. What is to be pressed harder? Dughan or breast. Okay? Like, press your breast against my back. So, buko-buko is back. And I would say that that is sensual. It suggests sensuality. And you know, it's consistent with the title Habal-Habal or sex. Okay? So I would say that these lines are rather sexual, no? Or sensual. So the driver is like in his mind telling the girl, press your breast against my back. And you see, di ba? That's actually sensual, no? Aron mas mabatyag ko ang hinagubtob sa imong kasing-kasing so that I can feel the beatings of your heart. So hinagubtob is beating, okay? Kasing-kasing is heart. So this is an example of auditory imagery. It's something that we hear, right? And hinagubtob is an example of onomatopoeia. So it's sound device in poetry. When you hear the word, it's like you also hear you also hear the sound, okay, that is produced. So kasing-kasing or heart, what is produced by the heart? The beatings, tug tug tug, hinagubtub. Okay, so that's onomatopoeia. Sa mga libaong atong malabyan, gaksa ko paghugot, sama sa lastikong mipungpong sa imong buhok. Again, very beautiful lines. So we see here simile. Okay, so the persona is comparing the rubber band tied on the hair of the girl, okay, to the embrace. Okay, gaksa is hug. Okay, hug me tightly. Okay, similar to the rubber band that is tied in your hair, right? So simile. So comparison, the the embrace, no, the tightness of the embrace is similar to how the hair is tied by the rubber band. All right? And when we have libaong, what's libaong? These are holes, okay? Sa mga libaong atong malabyan. So, the holes in the road, because it suggests that the road is not cemented. When we apply psychological approach or Freudian analysis in literary criticism, the holes here, the libaong, can refer to the female sexual organ. Okay? So, who is Freud, no? Freudian. You have Sigmund Freud. All right? So we know that in literary analysis, we can use several approaches. So we have the formalist approach wherein we just look at the lines, okay? The lines, the figures of speech used, the imagery, the sound devices. But aside from the new criticism or formalist approach, we also have the psychological approach. When there are holes, when there are slits, okay, they would refer to the female sexual organ. Okay, you might be laughing, but that's how it is. Okay, and if you have something that is pointed, okay, or elongated, that can refer to the male sexual organ. Okay. So I would say that this again would be consistent with the title Habalhabal. Okay? And the earlier lines that are already sensual. Ug sa kainit sa imong ginhawa, giti ka kining akong dunggan. Okay, again, rich in imagery, tactile, what we feel. Okay, so the warmth of your breath. So ginhawa is breath, kainit is warmth. Giti ka kining akong dunggan, like tickle my ear. Okay, dunggan is ear. Giti ka is tickle. Again, for me, that is very sensual, no? So in Freudian analysis, those lines can suggest foreplay in sex. Ang mga balili-unya nga manghalok sa tong batiis, isipon tang kaugalingong mga dila. What's balili? Balili is grass. So their legs, no, will touch the grass along the way. And I would say that these lines can be an example of personification. Okay? Ang mga balili unya nga manghalok sa tong batiis. So, balili, grass, that will kiss our legs. Batiis, legs. Manghalok is kiss. Okay? So, you are giving human attribute to the balili or the grass as though it's a person capable of kissing. So, that is personification. Okay? So, ang mga balili-unya nga mga halok sa tong batiis, isipon tang kaugalingong mga dila. I would say that it's also an example of metaphor because you have an implied comparison that the grass, no, the kissing, when the grass would touch or kiss the legs, it's like the tongue, okay? Isipon tang kaugalingong mga dila. It's like you have the kiss, okay? And especially if it's really a very sensual kiss, you have the French kiss when the tongue is involved. All right? So again, tactile imagery is used here. And of course, it can be another form of foreplay in sex. Dayon samtang nagatulin kining atong dagan, mamiyong tang manghangad ngadto sa kawanangan. Aron sugaton ang taligsik sa uwan, dahon ug bulak. As we continue with our journey, let's close our eyes. Mamiyong. Okay? So, kining atong dagan, so the journey, okay? Well, let's close our eyes. Mamiyong tang manghangad. Let's close our eyes and we look up in the heavens. Okay? In the clouds above. Ngadto sa kawanangan. Okay? Aron sugaton ang taligsik sa uwan, dahon ug bulak. Raindrops, okay? Uwan, rain, okay? So that we will approach or we will welcome the rain, okay? And the dew of the leaves and the flowers. Dahon, leaf, or leaves, bulak, flower. Okay? So, some of my students are kidding here, like, why will they close their eyes? If they're going to close their eyes, they will meet an accident. In Visayan, mabangga sila. Okay? Yeah, it's really true. But anyway, if we are very consistent with our earlier analysis that the riding the habal-habal can suggest sex, this is the culmination. This is the orgasm part already. Okay? And even the ejaculation. Okay? Because as suggested in Freudian analysis, anything that is liquid can be the semen. You have here taligsik. Okay? That can refer to ejaculation. If we stick to the formalist approach, it's just the imagination of the driver, okay? Like, it's his desire. It's his desire that he will have this romantic episode with the female passenger. Let's now have our significant human experience, or what are our insights or reflection. So, this habal-habal is, yeah, the mode of transportation when you go to the hinterlands. And I've heard also that there are some public school teachers who are assigned in the mountainous areas, and they have no choice but to ride the habal-habal. That's why there are many who end up marrying the habal-habal driver. All right. What else can be our insights here? So we are able to look into the male psyche, okay? Meaning what's in the mind of a driver, particularly a man, okay? Like, he can be imagining things when he is with a woman, alright? So as a woman, you have to probably be careful, although I don't want to moralize here, no? But of course, the male person can have his own imagination, and if he cannot control that desire, it might end in rape. We don't know, okay? But yeah, you have to be very careful, all right? But I don't want to sound moralistic here. But this is really a reality, because probably only in the Philippines, no, when we have the habal-habal, okay? And yeah, especially that our roads are not yet well constructed. So anyone traveling will have no choice but to ride the habal-habal, okay? But I would say that the entire poem really was able to describe vividly the ride, the ride when somebody rides the habal-habal, okay? So if you have additional insights or reflection, yeah, you can share in the comments below. So thank you very much for watching and listening to this video. I hope that it has enlightened us, and also we were able to see one culture that we have as Filipinos, which is riding the habal-habal. So till next time, I hope that you like my video and you subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much.